Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's doing well and everyone is ready this morning to start our new story. Junie B. Jones and her big fat mouth. What do you think that means, her big fat mouth? I don't know. Well, we know big is like big and fat is like fat. So, but your mouth is not really big or fat, so I don't understand what that means. What do you think that means? Look at that picture. It looks like she's like, oh no. Maybe she said something that she shouldn't have said, right? Sometimes we say things that can be hurtful or mean, or sometimes we can say things that are not appropriate. Like if you say a bad word, right? We don't say bad words. It's not a good thing to do. It's not polite or respectful. So maybe this story is going to be about her and using her words appropriately. I don't know. We're going to find out. Okay. Today we're going to learn three new words. I did make some new vocabulary today. I know you're so excited. The first word is announcement. Announcement. Let's clap that word because that's a long word. Look how long that word is. Announcement. Let's see how many letters it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 letters in that word. So when you have a long word like that, a lot of the times it has many syllables or many parts. So the word is announcement. So every time we say a part of the word, we're going to clap. So announcement. Three. There's three syllables in that word, which I really would think there'd be more than that because there's 12 letters and three parts. Announcement. So there's three syllables in that word. An announcement means making a formal statement. Like if you say something out loud, like hello, if you're yelling it to everybody, right? An announcement is something that you want to tell a lot of people. Look at that little guy. He's got his megaphone like Miss Frankie has in our classroom and he's using it so that he can be louder to make his announcement. The teacher had an announcement to tell the class, right? Sometimes if I have something I want to tell all of you, that is an announcement. So we have the word announcement. We'll hear that word today in this story. Career. Career is just another big fancy word for job, right? If you look at that picture, you can see all those kids are dressed up like different occupations or different jobs. So the word is career. This word, let's count how many letters are in that word. Ready? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So that's half as many as announcement. And career, if we clap it, career, two syllables, two parts, right? So a career is a job. Career day at school is when we learn about different types of jobs. So there they are, right? When we learn about different jobs, like maybe you know what you want to do, what career you would like when you grow up. Miss Frankie is a kindergarten teacher. That's my career. And the last word we're learning today is punishment. Oh my goodness, look at that boy. He's sitting in timeout. The penalty for making a bad choice. Punishment. Let's count those letters. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 letters in that word. And if you look carefully, can you find a chunky monkey? For those of you that are watching that are not in my classroom, a chunky monkey means finding small, tiny words inside the big word. So if you look carefully, I know many of my kids in my classroom are looking right now and they're saying, hey, wait a minute. I see the word is, right? Is, punishment. And I see a SH, which we know in our phonics song makes the sh, sh, sh sound. So we have punishment. Very good, punishment. And if we clap that word, punishment, three syllables. So announcement and punishment both have three syllables because they're both long words, right? And a punishment means like kind of when you get it, when you have to do something because you made a bad choice, right? Like maybe you have to sit in timeout. In our classroom, if you're making a bad choice and you're on an ugly color like yellow or orange or pink, you have to owe me some of your playtime, right? Because you didn't make a good choice. So then you have to stand out and you have to wait as your punishment. It says the boy had to sit in timeout as his punishment for not listening to his mom. So a punishment is really not a good thing. It means you've done something that you really shouldn't do. Like if mommy or daddy are speeding in their car, they might get a speeding ticket from their policeman, right? And that policeman, that's their punishment is they have to pay the money for their ticket. So even grown-ups sometimes get punishments. So today we're going to listen for these three words. Announcement, remember? So if we hear announcement, you could go like announcement, like you're yelling out the word announcement. The next word is a career. Okay, a career. So maybe we could go like this because military and armies, right? They all do the salute as their career. So we could do, so we have announcement, making a loud announcement. We have career, which is a job, soldier, right? And last one, punishment. Maybe, right? I put my hand on my head and make a silly face because I don't want to be punished. It's not fun to be punished. Okay, so those are the three words we're looking for today in our story. And you know at home is if you hear those stories, if you hear those words in the story, just wiggle your fingers up high so that I can see that you heard the word. We do it in our classroom all the time when we're sitting right in front of each other. But because of the silly coronavirus, we can't do that right now. So right now, whenever you hear those words, just wiggle your fingers up high. And that tells me and your mom or your dad or whoever you're sitting with that you can hear the words in the story. All right, are you ready? Junie B. Jones and her big fat mouth. Yikes. I love starting a new story. Look, here's all the kids in her class. Remember, we've talked about them now that we're on book 3. Let me get closer so we can see. We have Mrs., who's her teacher. We have Junie B. Jones. We have Richie Lucille. There's Lucille, one of her best friends, and Grace. There's Meanie Jim. Remember, she doesn't really like Jim. He wouldn't let her sit on the bus. Crybaby William. He's always kind of sad. Then we have Polly and Puffer. Jamal Hall. Ricardo. That's Junie B. Jones' little boyfriend. Roger. Charlotte. And Lenny. We haven't really read about those people yet, so maybe we'll learn more about them in our story today. All right, Junie B. Jones and her big fat mouth. Uh-oh. Punishment. Wait a minute. Is that one of our words? Punishment, right? She doesn't look like she's being punished. Look at that picture. She looks like she's in the classroom. She's with her friends. But the chapter is called Punishment. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice. Except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B and that's all. I go to kindergarten. My room is named Room 9. There are lots of rules in that place, like no shouting and no running in the hall and no butting the other children in the stomach with your head. Right? At school, we have a lot of rules. You got to follow the rules to keep everyone safe. My teacher's name is Mrs. She has another name too, but I just like Mrs. and that's all. Last week, Mrs. clapped her hands real loud together, and then she made an announcement to us. There it is. She's going to tell them something. An announcement is the school word for telling us something very important. Boys and girls, may I have your attention, please, she said. She's getting ready to make the announcement right now. Today is going to be a special day in room 9. We are going to be talking about different careers that you can have when you grow up, right? So they're going to talk about careers. Yeah, only guess what I said? I never even heard of that dumb word careers before, and so I won't know what the heck we're talking about. Mrs. made squinty eyes at me. A career is a job, Junie B., she said, and please raise your hand before you speak. Just like in our classroom, right? We have that rule. If you want to say something, you raise your quiet hand so that I can call on you. Because remember, if everybody's shouting at the same time, then it gets very loud and might give you a headache. Then Mrs. talked some more about careers, and she said Monday was going to be called Job Day. And everybody in room 9 would come to school dressed up like the kind of job that they wanted to be. That's kind of cool, right? So think about what you want to be when you grow up. Like I'm a teacher, so maybe I could wear like a dress and have books and a pointer or some pens or some pencils. What do you want to be when you grow up? And how would you dress up like that? That's what they're going to do in their classroom. They're going to dress up like what they want to be when they grow up. After that, room 9 was very excited, except not me, because I had a big problem, that's why. Ooh, I wonder what her problem is. Yeah, only guess what I said? I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and so that means I can't come to school on Monday, and now I'll probably flunk kindergarten. Hooray, shouted that mean boy Jim. I made a fist at him. How'd you like a knuckle sandwich, you big fat Jim? I shouted right back. Thanks. She's yelling at him and she's calling at him, saying, you big fat Jim. That's not very nice, is it? Do we use those kind of words in kindergarten? No. So right now we might know why they're saying her big fat mouth, because she says a lot of things that are really not nice or really appropriate that you might get in trouble for if you said them at home. Mrs. came over to my table and she bended down next to me. Please, Junie B., you simply must try to control yourself better in class. We've talked about this before, remember? Yes, I said nicely, only I hate that dumb guy. Just then my bestest friend Lucille, who sits next to me, stood up and fluffed her ruffly dress. There she is, Lucille, because remember, she's got lots of money. So she always has like really, really nice things and really, really nice clothes. I always control myself, don't I, teacher? She said. That's because my Nana taught me to act like a little lady. And so Junie B. Jones should act more like me. I made a growly face at her. I do act like a little lady, you dumb bunny, Lucille. And don't say that again, or I'll knock you on your can. Your can is another word for your butt. So she said, if you say anything mean to me again, I'm going to knock you on your butt. It's not nice again, is it? Mrs. did a frown at me. Just kidding, I said very quick, except for Mrs. kept on frowning, and then she gave me a punishment. A punishment is the school word for sitting at a big table all by yourself, right? Like in our classroom, sometimes if you can't control, remember we said in your body, your brain is the boss of your body. So if your brain cannot control your body the way it should be, you have to go and you have to sit by yourself because your friends are trying to work. And if you're talking, then they can't focus, right? And everybody keeps on staring at you and it makes you feel like PU, right? When you're in a punishment or when you're in timeout, you don't feel very good. You kind of feel sad. That's how come I put my head down on my table and I covered it up with my arms, because punishment takes the friendly right out of you. And so at recess, I didn't speak to Lucille. So now she's mad at Lucille because Lucille got her in trouble. And I didn't speak to my other bestest friend named Grace either. I just sat down in the grass all by myself, right? Sometimes if you're in a bad mood, you just need some private time. And I watched janitor paint the litter cans. And I played with a stick and an ant, and that's all. So she's sitting on the playground in the grass, and she's just sitting there all by herself. I hate room 9, I said very grumpily, except for just then I saw something very wonderful in the grass, and its name was 2 cherry lifesavers. Lifesavers are like little candies that are round, they have a hole in them, and they're cherry, so they're red. Hello, I love those guys, I said. Then I quick picked one up and I blowed off the germs and I put it right in my mouth. Wait a minute, can you blow germs off candy that's been on the floor? No, right? Because remember, we learned all about germs and we learned that you can't even see the germs. They're so tiny. So she picked candy off the floor. Like think about if we're on the playground, right? And you saw a piece of candy and you picked it up and she blew it off and then she went to put it in her mouth, but it's still dirty. So someone starts yelling at her, wait, don't do that, shouted a loud voice at me. Spit that out right now. I wonder who's yelling at her. I turned my head. It was the janitor. Remember, the janitor's like Mr. Pete. There's the picture. He's running after her. He doesn't look very happy. And she's like, oh, gosh. It was the janitor. And he was running at me speedy quick. His jingly keys were all jingling all over the place. Remember, this is the guy that opened up the bathroom for Junie B. Jones in the other story when she got locked at school. And she got locked out of the bathroom. Spit that out, I said, he yelled again. Why do you think he wants her to spit that out? You think maybe because it has germs on it? And so then I spit the cherry lifesaver on the ground because the guy was scaring me, that's why. Janitor bended down next to me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you, sis, he said, but I spotted a bunch of dirty candy in the grass, and I was going to clean it up when I finished painting. He looked serious at me. Don't you ever eat anything you find on the ground, do you hear? Not ever. But I blowed off the germs, I told him. Janitor shook his head. You can't blow germs off, he said. Eating things that you find on the ground is very, very dangerous, right? Very dangerous. That means it could be poisonous. It could be have germs on. It could make you sick. Now run along and play, he said. I did a big sigh. Yeah, only I can, I said, because I shot off my big fat mouth in kindergarten and then I got punishment. And now I hate my bestest friend Lucille.